It blows my mind how they can recommend some of these diets that clearly aren't effective in a real life scenario. No one is eating the DASH diet outside of these studies and losing weight. People are eating a keto diet outside of these studies, lots of people in fact, and they are losing weight. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kate, I'm a health coach and I post videos on a high-fat, nutrient-dense way of eating. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, feel free to share, and make sure to subscribe. And also make sure to follow me on my other social media where I share new posts every single day. As 2019 comes to an end and we move forward into 2020, I was curious to know what were the top diets of 2019 and what were the diet trends expected for 2020. I started looking into it and I came across this article called The 8 Best Diets for Weight Loss in 2020. Here, experts share the diets with science-backed evidence that will work in the long term. And this one caught my eye because it was posted on several different websites, the same exact list. Some of them were by the same author and some of them a different author, but it was still the same list. So I thought today we would go through this list together, talk about some of the diets they recommend. Are these actually good diets for weight loss? Why or why not? And also talk about the diets they forgot. Now, this list says it is based on science. It is based on diets that have been proven to work. But what kind of frustrates me is that they completely just disregard anecdotes. Some of the diets on this list have been around since the 90s. The recommendations have been pushed since then. Clearly, they are not helping our weight loss epidemic. And there were a couple diets that absolutely blew up in 2019 that, based on anecdotes, have been extremely effective for weight loss. And while I won't spoil it, but let's just say they are not talked about fondly on this list. Anyways, let's just get into it. I'm kind of beating around the bush, but we'll talk about it as we go along. The top diet that they recommend for weight loss is the Mediterranean diet. I'm sure all of you are familiar with the Mediterranean diet. Basically, it's focused on having some healthy fats, lots of beans, whole grains, fruit, and it also includes a daily glass of wine. I do not think any weight loss diet recommendations should include a glass of wine. Now, hear me out. I'm not saying you can't drink and lose weight. Some people can make it work, but the glass of wine has more cons than it has pros. It is definitely not going to help with your weight loss. So the fact that it is even included there, let's just say it shouldn't be. But this is the perfect example of correlation versus causation. So correlation is when two things are related, and causation is when one thing causes another thing. The people of Greece and Italy are not healthy because they drink a glass of wine every single day. They drink a glass of wine every single day, and they're healthy. These things are correlated, but one does not cause the other. They say it works for weight loss pretty much just because studies have shown it to work. They don't really explain why it works or why they think it works. And again, this is just correlation and not causation. The second diet they recommend is the DASH diet. I honestly can't believe this diet is on there. This diet is pretty much just the US dietary guidelines. That's pretty much all it is. It's low fat, low salt, high grains, high fiber, and this diet has been around since the early 1990s. Now, I was curious to know, is this diet actually still relevant? Are people actually still looking it up and trying to follow it? Are they seeing success? So I headed over to Google Trends and my suspicions were confirmed. It is not relevant. This diet has been around since the early 90s, as I said. If it was the key to weight loss, if people were having success with it, it would be everywhere. We would hear more about it. But that's not the case. How it works, they say you will certainly improve your health with this diet. Certainly. I almost want to test that. I almost want to go get a full blood panel and then switch to the DASH diet and see what happens. I can't believe she said certainly. The next recommended diet was the Weight Watchers diet, which has been rebranded as WW Freestyle. So they're just promoting calorie counting. Is that really sustainable long term? Remember I asked that question. It will be relevant later on. The Weight Watchers diet is pretty much a simplified version of counting calories. All foods have a number of points and you can only consume a certain amount of points in a day. Yeah, it's just restricting calories. There's nothing else to it. You can eat whatever you want, which does not guarantee you will find improved health. But yeah, if you're keeping your calories really low, if you're keeping your points really low, you might be miserable. It might not be fun, but you can probably lose some weight. Number 4 is the vegan diet. So they say going vegan's easier than ever. I don't think the vegan diet needs an explanation. It's pretty much no animal foods, only plants. Those are the rules. I do think it's good that they note the difference between a junk food vegan diet and a whole food one. I do think a whole food vegan diet is a step in the right direction from a standard American diet. Junk food vegan diet is the same or possibly even worse than the standard American diet. Now, the reason they say it works is they say studies have shown that vegans have lower BMIs than those who eat animal products. The problem with studies done on vegans and vegetarians is the healthy user bias. The kind of subjects that voluntarily enroll in a clinical trial and actually follow the experimental regime are not representative of the general population. Someone who is following a vegan diet is probably doing it for health. They're also probably at least pretty active, not drinking, not smoking. All of these things go hand in hand. It is really hard, I'm gonna say next to impossible, to pinpoint it down to their vegan diet being the reason they have lower BMIs. Next up is the flexitarian diet. I don't think we really need to talk too much about this. It's pretty much part-time vegan. And then intermittent fasting. I think it is great that intermittent fasting is on this list. Fasting is the most effective way to lose weight. If you are not eating food, you will lose weight. But they chalk it up to people only losing weight because they're eating less calories over the course of a day, which I don't think is entirely true. Yes and no. They are forgetting to highlight the benefits of being in ketosis, how if you are burning fat, fasting is easier. It's easier to eat less often. It's easier to eat less food usually. Yeah, she mentions it on this list, but just kind of brushes over it. And then we have the volumetrics diet. I have never heard of this. Consistently rated as one of the best diets by US News and World Report. Okay, so I put this into Google Trends as well to see if, did I just totally miss something? Apparently not. No one is looking this up. The premises of it seems to be just eating low-calorie food. They call it the least energy-dense food. That's a nice way to say low calories. This is totally irrelevant. I do not know how this made this list. And then Jenny Craig. Did not know that was still a thing. I don't even know what Jenny Craig is. Some weight loss program similar to Weight Watchers. Okay, and now the good stuff. 2 diets you can skip. Can you guess what they are? Comment in the comment section down below before I reveal, and let's see if you got it right. So they say, though you may have heard friends rave about how much weight they've lost going paleo or keto, diets that eliminate entire categories of healthy food, dairy, legumes, and grains on paleo, whole grains and fruits on keto, are impossible to sustain over the long term. Impossible to sustain because they cut out whole healthy food groups. The whole idea of paleo is that it is based on how our ancestors ate, on how we evolved eating. So you would think that anything is outside of that is pretty irrelevant, is not necessary for our health. But okay, fair enough. Let's say that they're not healthy because some food groups are cut out. then why is the vegan diet so far up on this list? She even mentioned paleo cutting out dairy. Does a vegan diet have dairy? This is just hypocritical. The problem I have with the argument of food groups being cut out so a diet can't be healthy, the US dietary guidelines and the DASH diet and other diets that are recommended and on this list are based around a group of foods, carbohydrates, that are non-essential. Humans do not need them. Humans can thrive without them. Whereas these diets limit a group of foods that is essential, fat. And then they call out other diets for removing groups of foods. Okay, I don't get it, but okay. So anyways, that was the list. It blows my mind how they can recommend some of these diets that clearly aren't effective in a real life scenario. No one is eating the DASH diet outside of these studies and losing weight. People are eating a keto diet outside of these studies, lots of people in fact, and they are losing weight. Which one would you prefer? A diet that has science backing it up, but doesn't actually work for you? I was gonna say, or a diet that doesn't have science backing it up and does work, but the keto diet has lots of science backing it up. But anyways, guys, as you can probably tell, I am pretty frustrated with this list. At the end of the day, doesn't really mean anything, but the fact that I just saw this posted on so many different websites, it's that time of year when people are looking up diets. They're gonna get started on January 1st, and this is discouraging people from trying keto. If you want to know more about the keto diet, why it's effective, how you can get started, I will link some videos in the description box down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Zeus, just look cute for a second. No, come on. Zeus, please.